You're 7-0 in the UFC. You have more wins than a lot of flyweights who are on the roster right now, and you're not in the organization.
I think people don't worse stuff than what I did. I didn't run pregnant woman over, so...
So when you look at Joshua Van versus Alex Pantoja, what do you think of that matchup?
I think Pantoja, even if he doesn't prepare for that fight, I think he'll beat him. Pantoja is just like the daddy of the flyweight division till Mokaev comes back. I never signed any paper outside of UFC with any other organization. Just me and good relationship.
That's very risky. I'm assuming you do sign a contract so you do get paid, right?
It is risky, but...
You
it's risky, but I'll find them.
Oh, it's 15-time world champion Demetrious Johnson. You're listening to the MightyCast.
What's going on, guys? This episode of the MightyCast is sponsored by PrizePicks. Now, PrizePicks is a daily fantasy sports game you play directly from your phone. It's very simple. All you gotta do is go to your app store, download PrizePicks, and when you do that, use my promo code MightyCast. Cool promotion going on right now. All you gotta do is play $5 in your lineup, and no matter what happens, you're gonna win $50 only for new signups. Now, they got everything across the board. They got NBA, NFL, CSGO, Valorant. Make your picks on that board. It's more or less. If you think this person's gonna land this many strikes, go with more. If you don't think he's gonna get that many, go with less. Just lock in your picks at the right place, which is PrizePicks. Now, shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring this episode of the MightyCast. Now, let us enjoy this talk with Mohammad Mokaev. Boom. Man, how are you? It's finally good to meet you, Mohammad.
I'm good, brother. You're a legend. It's pleasure for me to talk to you. I'm a big fan, and before I'm a fighter, I'm a big fan of the sport.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, boys, welcome back to another episode of the MightyCast. We are joined by one of the best flyweights in the world. He's undefeated in his amateur and his professional career. He was in the UFC, undefeated in the UFC. Now this man is traveling the world doing side quests, trying to make his way back to the UFC. Please help me welcome in Mohammad Mokaev, my brother. You know, you're not home right now. You said before we started, filming, you're in a different town training. Do you got something on the books, or are you just always training, looking for the next opportunity to be able to make your way back to the UFC?
Now I'm just traveling and training with the best, like I could. This morning I trained in different town, evening in different, and just traveling. And I have a wrestling match against one of ACA flyweight contenders, and the wrestling match 9th of August in Dagestan. So first time I'm competing in Dagestan, like on a big stage, and I think it's interesting for me to compete in front of my people. I have to take advantages of it.
Now, let's start it off. Okay, where did you start? I mean, obviously, let's just jump right into the UFC. You get to the UFC and you have multiple fights, and then eventually you get let go from the UFC, right? Like lately, I don't know if you've been seeing what I've been saying is that mixed martial arts, the UFC is not a sport, meaning that in a sport, you want to have the best athletes in the sport. You are one of the best athletes in the sport. You're undefeated. You won six or seven fights in the UFC. And you won 7 fights in the UFC. Then they don't re-sign you. Okay, now there's stories going on. It's he said, she said. Obviously, you and Manel Kape, we've had Manel Kape on the MightyCast. He's a friend of the show. What happened, right? Like what can you disclose of what happened of you the negotiations? Now, I don't want you to get yourself in trouble. What can you tell us, like what happened? Because at the end of the day, you're one of the best flyweights in the world, and you're not in the UFC, but you were there. You're 7-0. The last time we've seen this happen is when I fought, not when I fought, but Kyoji Horiguchi. I think he won like 6-1 in the UFC. He decided to leave the UFC and go back to Japan and fight in Rising, Dream, and Bellator and make more money. So, what's your story?
My story is, first of all, like I was fighting on the last fight deal contract against Manel. So it all depended on my performance. So they want basically Mick Maynard is the matchmaker of UFC Flyweight division, and basically the story is he asked Dana to keep the division, and he wanted more excited fighters, and excited fighters in front of for UFC it's the strikers with the finishes. And for myself, I would go sometimes. I did 7 fights within 2 years, and to make flyweight it is hard, so right. Within 2 years I had 7 fights against 4 of them was top 15 opponents, and basically the more I fought, the less performance I show because the longer you're in training camp, you just get tired of it, you get tired of it, and I start with great performance and start slowing down, and just didn't have that hunger. But I thought I just need to reach to the title. Everything was in my head, was just the Pantoja. That's it. I didn't care. I was just there, maybe win by decision. I didn't care. But only guy who was in my head, it was Pantoja. That's it. And basically, I was fighting against Manuel on the last fight deal. And if I knock him out, they would definitely sign and give me like the best deal. But I didn't finish him. And basically, they didn't resign me.
Now, usually when an athlete goes into their very last fight, especially an undefeated athlete, you know, before I went in my I think I had 3 fights left in my deal. They're like, hey, we want to re-sign you to a new deal. They didn't want me to get to that very last deal. Then I would have all the leverage. But for you, did they ever come to you be like, hey, you're in your last fight deal. It's your last fight. Can we re-sign you? Or were you just like, I'm going to go through my whole fight deal, and then we talk about re-signing?
Yes, I've been told, to be honest, it might get me in trouble, but I've been told, listen, you need to put performance, like go out there and take the risks if you want a new contract. I've been told by that. It wasn't something that the trouble I did outside the hotel. It didn't help, but it wasn't the main reason. It was all about the performance, and I don't think it's fair because we are mixed martial arts, and I was 23 years old when I was 7-0 in UFC, and they have to understand that that I cannot be the best Mokaev, like flying knees and stuff every fight. Sometimes fight can be ugly. It depends on the opponents as well. It depends on opponents, and I felt that I'm gonna get caught.
You felt that?
I felt that. Remember, it was all announced after the fight, but inside the cage, I asked, I deserve new contract or not? Straight inside the octagon, I already knew because I took it to decision, and I already felt that.
I want a title shot. Hey guys, do I deserve new UFC contract?
See, that's the interesting thing we talked about. This is, you're basically answering, like, not my answer, but you're giving it more substance of me saying that it's not a sport, right? Could you imagine the fastest runner in the world, and it wasn't exciting when he ran the fastest. He just ran it, but he beat everybody. And they're like, you know what? We don't want to see you run because when you run, it's not exciting. But even though you beat everybody, we don't want to see you run anymore. We want to see everybody who runs like, even though they're not the fastest, it looks, we enjoy watching them run more. So they're not going to have this guy run at the Olympics. That's basically how I feel what's going on in your situation. Because when it's a sport, at the end of the day, it's about you getting a W. It's about you beating people. It's about you being undefeated, right? I mean, there is a part of the showman stuff or whatnot, but when you're continuing to fight, because you say you fight, how many times did you fight in 7? You had 7 fights in UFC, and how many in a span of how long?
2 years.
In 2 years.
Yeah.
That activity.
The first year was 4 fights within 1 year, basically, and then I had the leg injury, if you remember, the knee bar.
Oh, that was deep.
And then I came back straight away, and I said, listen, I'm ready to fight. It was March. I was ready to fight in August against Team Elliott, but Team Elliott were injured, so they took it to October.
Damn. Yeah, and then how much do you weigh? Like, how big do you get between fights? Because making that weight cut all the time does a lot of damage to your body as well.
Right now, I'm about 67 kilograms, but after that knee bar, I was 73 kilograms because I was in my bed, lying down. I couldn't even bend, extend my knee, and I'm thinking, wow. I never mind. I was thinking about to come back to the sport. I was thinking, will I walk again or not?
Well, did you get an MRI? Did he tear anything?
Yeah, it was everything. It was everything. My knee was like a pregnant knee, you know.
Wow. Yeah, that was a fucking deep knee bar, and you still end up beating him. Super deep knee bar. If you guys haven't seen that fight, go back and watch it. I believe the guy you fought was Philo. I could say it wrong. Yeah, Philo Hoy. That was a dope fight. He had you in a deep knee bar. I thought you were gonna tap, but you're like, nope, ain't happening. So that knee bar, you know, did you have to get surgery to get it fixed, or was everything just swollen?
No, I did the football team, Wigan Athletics. I did the rehab with them. And I actually 1 week before the fight, I bought Mercedes car. I told them, I pay you half. And then after the fight, I'll pay you half as well. So in the middle of fight, I was like, hey, I need to pay for my milk, you know, and that's it. And I need to survive that.
Oh my God, Mohamed Mokaev in there. He goes, I'm gonna buy this Mercedes, and I'll come back and pay half after. You can't tap because I need the other half so I can pay for the rest of the Mercedes. Huh? Well, why didn't you just wait till after? Why'd you have to buy it before the fight? Why couldn't you just wait till after the fight?
Maybe somebody else will buy it. I just like that kind.
Oh my God, he goes, you know what? Hey, you're young, you know, you can do things like that. Okay, well, I just, that's the thing that always scratches my head about, you know, about your career so far. I mean, you're still young. You're 25 now, 25?
I'm 25 for the end of this month, yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, happy early birthday.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you look at your career, you're still young. You're 25, undefeated, and now you're off you just fought recently in Karate Combat. And then you just had another thing. Where did you just compete? I feel like you just did a grappling event.
Yeah, I fought in Brave.
No,
I did grappling against Bontorin. I lost by split decision. Bontorin, remember he fought in UFC before.
Yep.
And then I did 2 MMA fights, 1 karate combat, and now I have like wrestling. So right now, it's hard for me to get matchup. You will understand, like with big names. Big names, they don't want to risk. They're all about they want to go to UFC. But if you look on social media, they all call me out. But once time gets to paper, they're like, we want $300,000. They understand they're not gonna get paid that. But same time, they don't say no. So right now, I'm just fighting wherever who got in front of me, get my striking going with the hands, experience, earn money, invest into properties, and I just take advantages, just traveling around the world and competing.
Gotcha. Now, where's home? Like, where's home base? Where, you know, do you still live with your mom and dad, or do you have a significant other? Where's home? Where does Mokaev lay his head down?
I have a baby like 3 years old, and basically I take family everywhere around the world, and I live in UK. I can come to Dagestan, sometimes in Dubai, just traveling wherever I want, and wherever I feel where's warm. Sometimes go to Thailand in the winter time. And wherever I feel good, I will travel. Doesn't matter to me. I'm a free agent.
Gotcha. And you said home is the UK. What part of the UK?
Wigan. It's
Wigan.
between Manchester and Liverpool.
Okay, we were just saying Keithley. You probably don't know the hell that's at. It's up by Manchester, but it's I think it's our west.
I see you
Manchester.
did a seminar there, right?
Yes, did a seminar there.
Yes, I seen it.
So what brought you to London? Like tell me your story. Like, how did you end up in London? Like, where were you born? Where'd you get started in mixed martial arts or in karate, or, you know, is it Sambo? I don't know your origin, your origination.
In Dagestan, I started a little bit wrestling, maybe 2-3 weeks. And then I see the guys like getting picked to competition because of their father connections and stuff. And I never got picked because my father wasn't like big name or something. And so I just moved to karate, did like karate, won 4 medals. And basically I'm from Dagestan, but I did karate. This is my background. And I moved to UK when I was 12 years old. And I started wrestling, to be honest. Started wrestling, and what I like about UK, they don't care about your race, they don't care about your wealthy or your parents like politician or something like this. They pick you if you're good, if you have talent, they will take care of you. And I just did wrestling, and I remember I did a MMA fight when I was 15 years old, amateur. Just we were selling tickets to get money. I want to buy school uniform, and that's how it continued.
Wow. So you were born in Dagestan, and then you joined into karate because you didn't get the opportunity to compete in sambo or do any wrestling over there.
And that's it. Because it's high level competition over here. So you have to be super like, even if you're super talented, you must have connections also.
Wow. So that's kind of crazy because when everybody I didn't feel that your background was in karate. Even though you do take a kind of a karate stance, your wrestling's so good. Like your transition and your jiu-jitsu is so good. I would have thought your background was in sambo, you coming from Dagestan, but now knowing that you moved to the UK at a very young age, you started in karate. And when did you start karate, you said? You said 12 or 8?
I was about 9 years old when I started, but started wrestling when I was 12.
Gotcha. And the wrestling, was it American wrestling, like collegiate, or was it like sambo or freestyle?
Freestyle, it was in UK, and I remember we went to London. There was army base, and we did folk style. First time I competed in folk style. It was crazy pace, like you cannot lock your hands and stuff like this. And
Yep.
it's similar to MMA, I would say. The pace of MMA, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I love about folk style. I'll never forget when I was wrestling in high school and the match started and I took a step back and the ref goes, beep. He goes, do not step back. If you step back again, I will call you for stalling. You're here to wrestle. Go forward. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go forward. So the pace is a lot like mixed martial arts because, like I said, you can't lock your hands. You're always trying to break down the base, and it's constantly back and forth. And then I think the rounds are like 2 to 3 minutes. I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I've been in high school and done any wrestling competition, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Now, when it came, so then once you started doing that, you did karate, then you moved into wrestling, and you had your first amateur fight. How many fights you have as an amateur before you got the big call to, was it your minor league, was it Brave, or what was it?
Yeah, so I had 23 amateur fights. It was the IMF tournaments. They had like 4 fights in 4 days. Like back to back, you have to make weight every day. So I didn't do the flyweight. I did Bantamweight. There was 61.2 kilogram. And there was like Russians, Kazakhstan, and you don't know who you're going to face, basically. You don't even have time to watch them and learn about them. And some like a Russian guy, he's actually in ONE UFC right now. He's like 9-0 professional who I fought like first fight in IMAFs. And it was crazy guys. Now I look at them, they're all professional fighters doing really good. And IMAFs is really hard. So I would say it gave me good experience. And then the Bellator offered me the contract. But I took Brave, because Brave, between me and Brave have really good relationships. The Sheikh Khalid, he sponsors our team KHK MMA in Bahrain, and I didn't have any contract, so they said wherever UFC call you, you're ready to go. And I've been offered Contender Series. I said no, I want to go straight to UFC. And then I got offered again Contender Series. I said no, I want to go straight to UFC. And I said I deserve, because I have biggest amateur career in this game. And basically, I was 6-0 when I joined UFC.
Wow, and all those amateurs. So when you said 23-0, those are all amateur, right? So 23-0, and were they all MMA, or did you do Muay Thai, kickboxing?
No, all MMA.
All MMA. So 23
all MMA. Yes, and then I did like some in between those. I could do like weekend gi, no gi competition. Sometimes lose, sometimes win. Just competing, get my mentality, because when you're coming to the arena, you're nervous and you're like we're not hiding this. We are fighters, but we do get nervous. We do, especially when I was 18, 19 years old. I was like, I don't want to lose today. But sometimes you lose and you become actually better. And I was competing wrestling, jiu-jitsu, doing some interclubs in Muay Thai. Just competing. I didn't care about the results. I just competing, And people like used to tell me, listen, you are 23, as amateur, you compete in this local tournament, you might be ruining your name. I said, listen, nobody can ruin my name. I just compete. Doesn't matter. I lose, I win. I only get better. That's it.
Yeah, because those are all considered exhibitions. So it's not like a sanctioned event where it's like, I'm just here trying to get, feeling. You finally, and that's pretty cool to hear that you got offered the Dana White Contender Series 2 times and you turned it down. He was like, no, I don't want to go to Contender Series. I'm going straight to the UFC. Do you think, I don't want to say, do you think in hindsight, do you wish you would have fought in a Contender Series to get your hands a little bit better? Because, I mean, I feel like they're trying to change your style of fighting, even though you're so successful. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I know this. I believe in this. I think if I actually, in my opinion right now in my career, if I go through Contender Series, they would take care of me more. I believe so. Like through the media side and stuff, like Dana gets crazy on when somebody wins on Contender Series, especially when I was 21 years old when I got signed with UFC. So I thought he'd be like, Dana, like, what does this kid 21 years old and all this? And they never do this to me when I was 7-0.
Probably because you're kicking everybody's ass, submitting everybody. And they're like, God damn, we need more. We need somebody who's going to knock people out. Would you go back so let's say you go do the wrestling thing, you win that, and then they're like, hey, we'll bring you back, but you have to go to the Contender Series. Will you go to Contender Series, or you go, no, I'm going straight to the UFC, guys. I'm fucking 7-0 in the UFC already. I'm not going to Contender Series.
No, doesn't matter what I've done. I apologized, but I'm not going that to Contender Series. Like, listen, I deserve to fight for the UFC Flyweight belt, and guys who I beat, they're doing really good right now. So Joshua won getting title shot right now, but he got KO'd by Charles Johnson, who I took to the school, but he's my guy, but I showed them levels of my best.
He goes, Joshua Van. So, okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what's your thoughts on that matchup between Joshua Van versus Alex Pantoja. Like, what are your thoughts on it? Because that's the hardest thing, where your skill set is that you approach the fight where people, they can't survive. When you fought Manel Kape, you kept on, you had him. You've always had him guessing, right? You throw the high kick, you try to take the takedown. He wasn't able to let his hands go, right? Manel Kape hits hard. He moves fast. If I was to fight Manel Kape right now, I would not stand with him either. He's too good there. He's good there, right? So you get heavy hands, right? So you always look at it where how can you beat somebody at their weakest spot? Not saying Manel Kape isn't good on the ground, but he tends to use his hands. So when you look at Joshua Van versus Alex Pantoja, what do you think of that matchup?
Joshua got really good boxing. I like his boxing. I like his confidence at his age, because rare you can find those guys at 23, like on a big arena. Even like I watched, I seen like Pachi Mix just had a debut in UFC, and he said it was big arena. He was a little bit wasn't focused, So some people losing this when they see the bright lights, and the kid is doing good. And I think Pantoja, even if he doesn't prepare for that fight, just cuts weight and turn up, I think he'll beat him. The experience of the level, and Pantoja is just like the daddy of the flyweight division till Mokaev comes back.
He said daddy. Okay, so you think Pantoja's gonna win even if he doesn't train? He's just got to show up and he's gonna beat him. That's what you're saying.
I think so. The experience level of once you grab just the one body lock of Joshua Van, his boxing, his tiredness of the shoulders, and the second round. That's it. We've seen the Kape France, one of the best strikers in the flyweight division. We've seen what happened to him.
Yeah. I also feel, I agree with you with Van, how at a very young age, he does not he lets his hands go. He gets in there, pulls his shorts up, and he throws these combinations. He does get hit a lot, but he also gives his own hits as well. When him and Brandon Royval fought, I thought Brandon let that fight get away from him with not using his experience level of mixing it up. I always tell people, it's mixed martial arts. You're not doing yourself any favors of not utilizing the other realms of mixed martial arts. Right? And that's one thing I felt like Brandon Royval let get away from him. Where we see Pantoja, he likes to use all realms of martial arts. So do you as well. Where Van, I'm starting to not come around, but I'm starting to like respect that he's like, okay, I can grapple, I can kick, I can do all this stuff, but I don't care to grapple. I don't care to hug people. I just want to knock people out. It's great. So I think it'll be a great fight between those two guys. I think Pantoja is going to battle adversity in that fight just because I feel Van is going to not respect him and he's going to get his hands off. You know what I mean? Van's like, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind. I'm 23. If I lose in 10 years, you know, you think about it. You'll
back and take the belt, yeah.
Well, you'll be but you'll be 35. He'll be 33. Pantoja's going to be 45. I'm not coming back, right? So I feel you guys are like the new generation that's coming through. And it's kind of crazy to think like you'll be 25 and you're 7-0 in the UFC. You have more wins in the UFC than a lot of the flyweights who are on the roster right now, and you're not in the organization. That's just fucking crazy when I say that.
I believe one day, like if I get a couple good finishes, put my hands together, I think they'll sign me back. There's nothing like between me and UFC like bad blood, you know. And I think people don't worse stuff than what I did. And I did it against the professional fighter. I didn't do who couldn't protect himself, you know. So.
I understand that because you look at Conor McGregor.
I didn't run pregnant woman over, so.
I didn't say it. I agree with you. I don't know. You know, I hope between you and Manel, I hope you guys smash that beef. I hope you guys can move forward. You guys are professional athletes.
Fine. I message him. Listen, whatever I've done, I message him. I grew up since that happened. I grew up a lot. You know, even I have little bit sometimes ego, but I messaged Manok. I said, listen, whatever happened between me and you from my side, I apologize. Even after the fight, I shook his hand when he lost, and I could continue brawl in the cage because I already knew I getting caught, you know. So, listen.
You're like, you know, I'm done. I'm out of here. That's just, like imagine that. Imagine 7-0, and you know you're gonna get cut. Like fans, listen to this again. I'm 7-0 in the UFC. I just won my 7th fight consecutively, and I'm going to get cut. That's a thought process that somebody who's fucking 1-3 or 0-4 or there's it just blows my mind to think like that, right? It's unfortunate, but I think maybe it's good for you because the one thing I've always I see you know, I follow your interviews and I pick up pieces you say. You don't have to fight. You've made investments in buying houses, right? So talk to me about that. Where did that mindset come from? Like, what did you do with your money? Because obviously you made these investments where you're able to travel around the world and compete, bring your wife and kid with you.
Yeah, so basically I'm not like from rich family. I grew up in, like, I came to UK 12 years old, living in a refugee center. Then I moved to like council estate, living in council house, never had my own home, traveling. And then like the council can say, hey, we have to move to new house because this house like to somebody else, and then packing stuff and moving to new area. So I'm from that side, and I never had my like corner in the house, you know. So once first money from UFC, I bought a house in UK. And then I just invest wherever I earn. I invest everything to rent out and getting money. Now I'm building the training center in Dagestan. I'm building, and not like for people. So I can do the camps there. Bring my people, my team, do the camps. We got like a UFC size octagon, you know. and the gym, the pool, recovery center. So I invest also. I bought 1 Bitcoin, so I'm waiting for it. It goes crazy. Yeah.
And you so you have rental properties. How many do you have? Because I remember like when we talked off camera, you say you have like, you're like, dude, I don't need the money. I want to be a UFC champion. I'm working towards that. And for somebody who's 23, 24, you're about to be 25, they're just trying to they don't make investments. They don't make, good money. But for you were able to do that at such a young age. Go on, explain yourself. Like I said, like when I was 23, 24, I was like, all right, I'm working at Red Lobster. I'm going to hang gutters. I got to find, I wasn't making investments at that time, even though I came from a poor background, right? Like I grew up in section low income housing.
Constructions, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, we would always have to, I was military background, so we would move around. But then once we got to this one house, every, I think 2 months or every quarter, they would come and check to make sure the house was clean, if there was no holes in the wall. And okay, you guys can continue to stay here, but you guys don't own this house. And so then I moved out. But when I finally moved out, I didn't have the mindset to buy my own house yet. I couldn't afford to buy my own house yet, to be honest with you. So, but for you to be able to buy your house once you get your first check and then to invest it, I find that, I'm kind of amazed at 24, 25, you've made those investments where you're like, I don't need to fight. I want to be a UFC champion.
Yes, right now, if I finish career today, DJ, I just could sit and just enjoy the life. But now, basically, I made money work for me. And because I knew one day UFC, the fame, the money like that you collect, it's not forever. So imagine I get kicked out from UFC and now I'm not receiving anything. And while I was in UFC, I would buy cars, watches, party, everything, and then I'll be working somewhere right now. I would be chilling and enjoying. I already was stressed when I got caught from UFC, and I had like crazy stress but imagine if also I needed work to find a job and stuff like this, and that would be like crazy, something like I wouldn't be able to train. But now I can go back on the road, invest everything in myself now, the money I'm receiving, and building myself as a better fighter and show the world why I'm the best flyweight right now.
I love it. That's crazy. Because now if you do come back, when you do come back, not if, when you do come back, I think you'll be more prepared because now you have we have a guy, you know who MMA Guru is. He talks about you all the time. Yeah. MMA Guru always talks about when athletes start making money, they can put more money into their camps to make themselves a better version, right? And I think that's...
Korea does amazing right now.
Yeah, exactly. He has his own training at his house, recovery center at his house, everything at his house. So when he needs to do a pad session or a grappling session, or I need to recover, he can go do that. And Topuria is 28, 29, you're going to be 25. So for you're laying the foundation. So when you do come back, you're going to be even better. And I think your hands are fine. I just think a couple of not bad matchups, but a couple of tough opponents who would take a hit more than you want to take a hit. And you're like, I'm not playing that. I did the exact same thing, right? Like I wasn't going to, I was not going to strike with somebody who's had heavier hands than me. I was like, it's not happening. I don't want CT and brain concussions.
Yeah, imagine I go out against Manuel, getting knocked out and getting caught. That would be bad, DJ.
Yeah, that'd been bad. I mean, it's a strategy. It's a game, right? It's sometimes, the person, I always tell people like, when I watched, I watched the last fight, I watched Joshua Van versus Pantoja. Everybody was like, man, that was fight of the night, da-da-da-da. I was like, it was two guys, going back and forth. hitting, I hit you, you hit me, I hit you, I hit me. And for me, I enjoyed watching, the main event, Charles Oliveira versus Ilya Topuria, and even the Beneil Dariush versus Manny Moicano, just because I like to see the full scale of mixed martial arts. I like to see the grappling. I like to see, oh, he took him down. He does a switch. Oh, he's going for a heel hook. The fans, they're not educated to understand how hard that shit is. They don't understand, what's at stake. If I make the wrong turn during a heel hook, I can blow out my ACL, MCL, LCL, and PCL. They don't understand that. But everybody does understand. I hit him with my fist, he hits me back. They understand that. So for me, I like to see the full spectrum of mixed martial arts. If I want to watch boxing, I'll watch boxing. If I want to watch kickboxing, I'll watch kickboxing. But for me, I like MMA because you have the option to go to different tiers of a fight game, where those ones, you're stuck. When I watch Muay Thai, I'm like, you guys are beating the shit. I literally, when I watch, I'm like, you guys are beating the shit out of each other, and you're all going to have CTE. When I watch kickboxing, you're literally beating the shit out of each other, unless I see a guy like, Pantoja or, Ernesto Hus or even Crow Cop back in the K1 days. You see, they get offline, they throw it's like more technical, where you don't really see that type of kickboxing or Muay Thai nowadays, right? You have you have Jonathan Haggerty, you have those guys, but they're stuck in that realm. They have to fucking fight. When you're in MMA, you don't have to slugfest with anybody. So why do it, right? So for me, I like your style. It's different. You're mixing it up. You're playing. Everybody's playing checkers. You're playing chess, where it's like I'm not. So I just.
They can also blame the guys who've been in UFC for 10 years and ask them why you still not knock Mokaev out if he's got shitty striking.
That's a great point. That's a great fucking point.
That's it. So if I go shit striking, pay them extra and say you're gonna go knock Mokaev out, we give you 10-fight deal contract with $10 million. That's it. Why blaming everything on me?
I fucking love that. I was like, oh, he's got shitty striking. Knock him out. I'll give you 50 G's if you knock him out. Okay, good luck.
That's it. Like against Team Elliott, I was like on the scorecard, I was losing 2 rounds, but in my opinion, I was 1-1 between him, and it was technical. A lot of people talk about this fight, and the technical fight I liked it. I like against Team Elliott, and he's one of the best flyweights in the world, I would believe.
Yeah, it's always cracks me up, just because we talk about stance, we talk about styles, we talk about what makes fights, and that's, once again, I always feel that nobody should have to change their style of fighting if they're winning. Like, now, if you're getting knocked out and then you're getting submitted and shit like that, then I'm like, okay, I think it would be beneficial for you to change your style. But the fact that you're, beating everybody and undefeated, it doesn't make sense. So, okay.
In my opinion, I think all this situation changed me as a person as well, better way. I sit down, I look around, who is around with me, what's going on with my career, with my life, and like I was 7 fights back to back in UFC. I was like just in the fog, like just straight for the belt. Now I sit down, calm down, and it made me a group. I think mentally a group. I think something for better.
Gotcha. Were you hanging around with, you said you look around and you look at your group that you're with. Were you hanging around with people who had bad influences on you, or were you just a wild boy and just like, fuck it, we're just gonna, you punch me, I'm gonna punch you back. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Yes, to be honest, there were a couple of people that would say, do this, do that, and then when I got in trouble, they disappeared. And guess what? I stayed with my own problem. But it rather see those people in this situation rather getting trouble and like getting in jail or somewhere else. This is nothing compared to what people going through in their life. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, I want to switch gears. When you finally made that transition out of the UFC, you went to Karate Combat. How was that experience? Like, when you went there, how was it, getting picked up? And was it was a one-fight deal? Talk to me about that journey of you like, okay, well, I left the UFC undefeated. Now I'm going to go do Karate Combat.
No, first fight was brave. It was brave. I had a good opponent. I think he was like 14-1 or something like this. It was good. He pulled out like 1 week before the fight. and then they brought me some guy, and then I finished him, and then I got into karate combat, and just want to do some striking experience and show what my striking is. Like when I know in my head I cannot grapple, I did striking, but and then I did another MMA fight. They gave me main event in Dubai, and just experience, brother. Just experience, I think.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, I hope you. I mean, I know you're gonna make it back. I know you're gonna make it back. It's just frustrating to hear the fact that like that whole situation, besides the fact that whatever happened behind the scenes between you and Mokaev and the negotiation with the UFC, but the fact that they let an athlete who's undefeated 7-0 go away, maybe it's a perfect business tactic, tactic where it's like, hey, well, let's let him go. He'll get better hands, and then hopefully you'll come back in order to back to the UFC and try to, you know, compete with them and fight for the belt. Have you ever thought about trying to fight anywhere else, like PFL or One Championship?
You said from business tactics. I think they made me more popular from coaching me than I was fighting in UFC. And I think when I come back, I think I'll be like next Brando Moreno, getting caught and taking the title. I think maybe from the marketing wise, marketing side, I think something better for my career. Imagine when I come back, how much noise you're gonna make.
Well, I think when you come back, I think everybody's gonna scratch their head up like, where the fuck? People are gonna ask what happened. That's where I mean, I agree with you. It's gonna be a great marketing strategy, but for me or anybody else, people are like, how's the guy 7-0 in the UFC and then he disappears and he comes back? Like, what happened? Like, where's this guy been the whole time?
They just give him a lesson, maybe. I don't know, whatever. I don't know. They're gonna make Uncle Dan are gonna make something. They just say
you'll make something up.
Yeah, they're just gonna say he was a bad guy that time. Now he changed. That's it.
Well, I think people are like, can he still be the bad guy? Because we need story. I think it gives a perfect storyline when you come back, where he like, it'd be good if he was like, imagine Danny goes, he was just too good. Like we couldn't let him stay because he was too good. He kept on beating everybody. Or like how Guru said. Guru says, you aside Muhammad Mokaev, and I'll just send assassin after assassin after assassin to try to take him out. Play the bad guy role. And then you just keep beating him. You keep beating him. And the next thing you know, it's like, you know, I'm the good guy. Dana White sent all the assassins after me. I took them all out. They're just not good enough. There's levels to this game, and obviously they're not on my level. I like that storyline better. That's a good storyline right there.
Yeah, I like it too. I just have main thing from my side, just to get better, to stay active on the media, stay active in the competition, not just like most fighters getting caught from UFC and they just like disappear and thinking they'll never come back. It's just in my head, everything is possible in this life. Just keep doing from my side, so I don't reject when I be 30 years old.
Gotcha. Now, why not go to like another bigger organization? Why not go to like PFL? Or I know you're at Brave, but I don't know if Brave is on the same level of, you know, I don't want to say global. I guess you say global, like One Championship and PFL is.
I was so close to get into 1 million. It's $500,000 tournament right now. So they call me 10 days. It was about April, I think May time. I can't remember. It was after Ramadan this year. They said 10 days notice to step in. Magomedov pulled out to step in, but they couldn't get working visa on time. So
and that
I was close. That was
in PFL?
PFL World Tournament 135. And then there was Magomedov pulled out. Then there was a Tajikistan guy, 16-0. He couldn't get his visa. There was from other side Kasumov. He got injured, but he still fought and he lost. So it was the tournament. I was like, I just have to get in and take the belt. That's it. It was like all the high level guys just gone.
That was the one that I think Sergio Pettis and Rafael Stashes fought in, correct?
Yeah, that's it.
Gotcha. But if you would have did that, was that contract going to lock you in for a long time, or was it just a tournament thing and you get to go for free?
You know, I tell straight to organization without lies. Like they know that there's something between me and UFC, but they don't know how high the beef is or how low. In my opinion, it's very low. And but from outside, people think I'll never come back and stuff. And I tell to organizations straight away, like ONE FC offered me and they said like 6-fight deal contract. I said, no, if you give me one fight, I'll come. If not, I've got a lot of tournaments, a lot of events who offers me like big money and the big arenas, like Europe, like Arab countries. And I don't want to look in, never. Like if we go back when I was 23 and as amateur 0-0 as a professional, Bellator offered me more money than Brave, but I picked Brave so I can go to UFC.
So at the end of the day, you wanted to be why? But if you're making good money, because there's been athletes, for example, the gentleman, I forget the gentleman's name. He came into a Dana White's Contender Series. He's got a win over Alex Pereira, and he beat everybody in Contender Series. They offered him that might be him. I'm not sure.
From UK featherweight?
No. Alex Pereira, light heavyweight. He beat him in K1 a long time ago, but he got the opportunity to fight in the UFC, but they offered him not very good money. He goes, I'm not taking that. So he stayed away. I don't know what he's doing now. It's kind of funny. Like these athletes come into the UFC, they offer them the money and they say no, and then they just disappear. And that's one of the things that you cannot take away from the UFC is that it is
the kickboxer.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a Russian guy I know who you mean.
Yeah, where UFC is such a marketing machine that when you come and you fight for the platform, it just amplifies your name, right? You look at Andrew Tackett. Now my kids know who Andrew Tackett is. It's the gentleman who's a BJJ welterweight champion. He didn't want to come to the UFC because he was like, the money wasn't good. But for you, you're making great money outside of the UFC, but you still want to get back in there. Is that just for your goal, just to be a world champion in the UFC? Or you're like, actually, the money's better inside the UFC?
The money, I think depends who wants what in the life. I want UFC belt, and that's the main thing. Like money, I was getting paid in UFC, and I still it wasn't because of the flyweight division. They getting different money to lightweights, and so because they're bigger stars, I would say there's levels to division. Maybe it's not fair, but it's better than the close division. They rather give at least money what they have rather than they close the division. No, so from the side, I understand them, but still, I was fighting in UFC. I was still investing and did what I need to do in my life. So I wasn't complaining about that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm always interested because you see athletes, they just want to get back in the UFC. You see some athletes like, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to stay outside and collect all these checks everywhere else and not fight in the UFC. And I think, there's a lot of athletes out there like Fedor Emelianenko, Krokop. I mean, he came eventually, but I think Krokop didn't have to come to the UFC because he was so good outside of the UFC. You've seen a lot of athletes in mixed martial arts who never fought inside the UFC who are considered still to be one of the best athletes to ever do it in mixed martial arts.
It is possible, but I'll see what the plan is. I think I'm gonna win a couple more fights, and I wanna sit down with UFC and talk to them because I want to see what's next in my career, and I believe there's a chance to me to come back and take the belt. And I believe only guy. I don't say I'm gonna run past the Pantoja. Pantoja is one of the toughest opponent, but I have trained with him, and I don't see anything special. Like what I would say, he's similar to Tim Elliott, but just Pantoja is more consistent with his training, with his like mentality. Whereas Tim Elliott sometimes like just come out for fun, just strikes wherever goes. If I win, I win. If I don't win, I don't win. Like a different mentality. Whereas Tim Elliott, when he fought you 2017, he was more hunger. He had more hunger. Now he's like family, training, partying, and all this. So by the skill side, like it's all about how you prepare, how you put your performance, how you go switch with your mind inside the octagon on the day of the fight. That's what most important. But today, Joshua one throws same jab as I throw. He knows how to defend the leg attacks, but the IQ in the octagon works differently.
I love that. Now with you, you're a free agent, so you're not tied to anybody right now.
No. Now I've been offered to fight for Brave CF belt as well. So like flyweight, bantamweight, wherever I want, and I will decide now.
Gotcha. I don't know if you have like a contract with anybody, but each time, no matter who it is, you have a good relationship with Brave. So you come, fight, leave, come, fight, leave. If you go to Brave, become a world champion, bantamweight, flyweight, if UFC calls, they're like, you can go. Go ahead, go.
I never signed any paper outside of UFC with any other organization.
Oh,
like
wow.
Even like just 1 fight deal, 2 fights deal, no deal. Just me and good relationship and loyalty. For my side, I have to make weight and tune up to the event. And they know I'm a man of the word. 38 fights, never pulled out from the fight. And never missed weight as well.
Good for you. That's very risky. I'm assuming you do sign a contract so you do get paid, right?
It is risky, but it is risky, but I will find them.
I fucking love that, man. Well, it's you see it nowadays. Everybody's talking about, non-exclusive or exclusive contracts, right? It's not in the US, not in mixed martial arts, because I think every organization now, they have that exclusivity, right? If you fight for one, you're exclusive in mixed martial arts. You fight for PFL, UFC, you're exclusive. In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there's still some places where you can go around, be a free agent, and go to these different ones and compete. Where for you, you're kind of in this, this free agency where it's like, I can go fight at Brave. I can go fight at PFL. I'm not signing a contract. I fight at one. I'm not signing a contract. Nobody's going to let you do that. You're too high profile who's not locked down. So you have this freedom to go wherever you want and collect checks everywhere, but you ain't signing nothing. So I hope obviously you got paid. And it's kind of interesting to hear your mindset on that. Like you're like a Ryu where you're just going around getting all this experience. So when you do get back to the UFC, you're that much more prepared. Even though I think you were prepared, but we would never know because you didn't get the opportunity to stay and keep on competing.
Yep. Yeah. Like stylistically, like if you remember when I fought Alex Perez, on that card, Steven Ercik fought Matt Schnell. And basically,
Matt Schnell, yep. All right.
Yeah, basically there was Matt Schnell. He's like 7 and 9 in UFC or something like this.
Yeah, he just retired. I remember he lost. He took his gloves off. He goes, "I'm fucking done. Fuck this sport."
Yeah, it's about time. Yeah. So yeah,
you fucking. You're hilarious.
I'm realistic. Once.
Yeah. I agree.
Once you beat your wins, you must do something about your career. Like it's either you get brain damage. So I'm talking about from the health side. So on that card we fought in Las Vegas, there was Alex Perez against me and Steven Ercik for the Matt Schnell. So basically I put performance that UFC didn't like against Alex Perez, who's like title contender. Yep. Ex-title contender, who's like one of the best right now in the division as well, like his skills. And then Steven Ercik knocks out Matt Schnell and basically he's getting title shot. So by the results and the skills, if the switch of the opponents maybe be something different, So sometimes I get ugly matchups that didn't let me to show my skills.
Yeah. Well, it's always everybody's path to a title shot is always going to be different, right? I mean, let's take an example. You look at Merab's path to get a title shot. He went crazy champion after champion, Peter Yan, Jose
Habib
Aldo,
did same,
Habib did the same thing. Then you look at, Sean O'Malley, he never went through the same killer's row like Merab did, right? But then once Merab got to Sean, Merab beat Sean, then he beats Umar, then he beats Sean again. And I think it's just how, it's something.
Maybe because Merab doesn't have pink hair.
Oh God, no, I don't think that. I just think there's something. I just think, once again, it's not a sport. It's more of entertainment. It's more of like
business.
It's a business. It's like, who's going to sell the best? and let's not worry about if you're good or not. Like I said, that's the hardest thing that I've always had a hard time in this sport. When I was in the UFC, when I was a flyweight, when I was on, 7-8 fight win streaks, and then it's like, oh, you're not selling pay-per-views. And it's like, guys, I'm the fucking best in the world. I'm knocking people out. I'm submitting people. And I truly felt like it wasn't the UFC. I just felt like the fans didn't really care. You know what I mean? Like the fans, because you think about it, like if everybody was like, no, I want to see Mokaev fight. I want to see Mokaev fight. I want to see Mokaev fight. Even, you're 7-0, they probably want to let you go. Where I felt like the flyweight division has always had that problem with trying to cater to the masses of the viewership. You know what I mean? Which I think it kind of hurts us. It hurts the sport aspect of mixed martial arts in the end of it, right? Because you don't have the best athletes on the roster. You have the athletes that people want to see fight, which sells pay-per-view. It's a weird fucking relationship when it comes to the UFC and mixed martial arts.
Yeah, I heard like Dana want to close that division because of that, but Mick basically saved the division and said, listen, let me deal with it and I'll keep it excited. So at least they keep the flyweight. At least they keep flyweight division, because right now I can't go to bantamweight division also. I can't fight bantam, but I have to bulk up a little bit. And I think bantamweights are stylistically easier to me than flyweights, because flyweight
Really?
is hard. I believe so. I sparred with so many bantamweights who's like against like Peter Yan, like Said Nurmagomedov. But I trained with a lot of like Timur Valiyev, and I remember, and I think stylistically for me, bantamweight easier to me than I'm a much faster fighter at the bantamweight. Whereas at the flyweight, I cut so much weight, and basically sometimes I don't have that power where I feel this power in the bantamweight.
So why not just go bantamweight then?
If they send me contract at 135, I'll go fight bantamweight.
Wow. So you can do both if you want. You can do triple C. You go down there, win the belt at flyweight, and then go up to 135 and win the belt. You be on the wall with one of the greats, triple C.
I said I have advantage of my age, and by the time I come back and take back to the rankings, they're all gonna be like 35, 36. So.
Is it hard for you to make 125, even if you have time to make it?
Against Manel Kape, I think 10 minutes before the weigh-ins closed, I came. It was really difficult. I'm tall, and I have like 178 centimeters reach, and yeah. I think it is hard, but I never missed. So
gotcha. Yeah, you're gonna be 25. You're gonna be 135, because as you get older, you're gonna get stronger. Your muscle gonna get more denser. You're gonna get bigger. You're gonna go 135. You're like an Ilia Topuria, where it's hard for him, very very hard for him to make 145. Now he's fighting 155. He goes, I feel great. Like now I touch people's head and they explode. So I feel for you, if you're having a hard time making 125 now, give yourself 5 more years of training consistently. You're not going to want to make that weight class anymore. You'll be at 135. So maybe that's your true calling, is 135 instead of 125.
Yeah, and a lot of people watch that division as well, than flyweight.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, shit, Muhammad Mokaev. I mean, the producer's gone. You've answered. I always wanted to talk to you because, like I said, when you left the UFC, I was like, WTF, what the hell happened? And to hear your story about, coming from Dagestan and you leaving early as a kid, starting karate, absolutely amazing, right? I don't like to read up on not my opponents. I don't like to read up on my guests, or I want to hear it from your mouth, because now I can see why. Like, I never had my own house. I'm going to get my own fucking house. Congrats to you, man. The floor is yours. Is there anything you want to let the fans know how they can support you, what you got coming up next? The floor is yours, brother.
Thank you, brother. I just want to thank all my team, KHK MMA, the in Bahrain, and I'm actually watching your fight live against Team Elliott when I was 17 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how crazy I'm a big fan of the sport. So, like, I just wake up and watch every single UFC fights when like at the night, and trying to thinking like I never bet in my life, but I'm betting sometimes this guy gonna win by TKO right in my pen paper, and just I'm a big fan of the sport, man. I'm a big fan.
Here, before I let you go, what would you say was my biggest weakness? Like you growing up, I'm retired now. What would you say my biggest weakness was when you watch me? And be honest. Be honest. Like if I was to fight Demetrious, this is what I would have done to him.
As I spoke to Brad Pickett 2019, 2020, it was lockdown, COVID. We trained with Nathaniel Wood, and I said, how do you think I can beat Demetrious Johnson? You're still active, and I'm thinking about. I never had, even have professional.
I passed him across. Yeah.
No, even I was 0-0 at the professional, and I'm looking at Demetrious Johnson.
You're like, how can I beat him?
Yeah, because I trained with him, and he said, wrestle, and I think then I start rewatching the fights. I think body lock, just control your back, and but it's hard because you're so fast, man. It's first to get to you so close because you move so much. It's difficult, man. So just have to keep you like guessing. You similar to Manuel Kape on the feet, like your footwork similar, like very twitchy muscles. So it's very high risk to shoot without high level setup. You have to fake it a lot, fake it, set up, and by the time you fake it and set up, the 5 minutes goes and fans are gonna boo, you know. So
here's a question. Do you think your style would be better off in a 10-minute round? As like, you remember in Pride where it was 10-5, it would be 10-5, and then championship, I think it was 10-5-5. So do you think your style be better in a 10-minute round? Because like you said, in a 5-minute round, especially 3 rounds, that's a sprint. That is truly a sprint. When you get to 25 minutes, you can work it. You can start getting your juices going, and you can submit them in the 3rd or 4th or 5th round. But when you have the first round, you're, okay, I'm still trying to set it up. Beep. 1 minute break. You go again. You finally land what you're trying to do, and it's the middle of the 2nd round, and the next you know, round's over. 3rd round, it's like, oh, well, I got to do it. It's like, do you think you've been better off in a 10-minute round?
3 fights in UFC, 3 finishes in the 3rd round I have.
Yep.
So I just start like feeling good. Like imagine after the fight, I'm jumping on the cage, giving interviews. Yep. So it shows I have still got the energy. So even in the gym, sometimes when we wrestling, I out wrestle guys later in the round.
Yep.
Later, I'm like a marathon runner, you know.
Yep.
And maybe sometimes I need to take risk in the first rounds, but guess what? I'm gonna maybe slow down because I take everything energy out. I rather win. Maybe sometimes it gets bored, but win is a win, you know. So I think you are right. You are right about that. The later rounds, we get even better.
Yeah, because as we talk, I feel like you're so systematically where you are. I feel like your IQ is kind of like mine, where you're in there, you're watching, you're seeing what he's going to do, and then you start to apply, you start to test your theory inside of the cage, and then if things start to work, correctly, then you start to build on it, build, and then eventually you catch him, then you finish him. But if your opponent's always changing that data, then you're like always second guessing yourself, and then you never get to that end point. You don't get hurt, you don't get injured, but you never get that finish. But if you do take the risk, then you won't be able to come back from that risk. You might get hurt, you might get cut, or you might gas yourself out. So it's a very interesting problem that you have to solve for yourself as you're going through this journey right now outside of the UFC. So maybe, And
I never had the fight game plan. I never had in my life. Never. We will never sit down with the team. I'm gonna shout this. After 1 minute 36. I just tell them, just tell me the time. That's it. I don't do anything else.
Why not sit down and game plan? Because I never was a big fan of that. But then now in my career, well, I'm not in my career anymore, but now I can understand why I did it, because my body would react totally different. But for you, why didn't you never want to sit down and are you going to fight Tim Elliott? Okay, Tim Elliott does X, Y, and Z. This is what we need to do. Stay away from this. And then when I say X, Y, and Z, you do this. Why did you never do it?
I don't know. I just watch the opponents. I remember when Tim Elliott, he does like, he lifts front leg and he skips. You remember? He does, so you don't calf kick him. And I faked it, and I see he lifted up, and so I kicked the back of his knee, of the back foot. So then he stopped with that. Hello.
You want to say hi? No, you shy? No, we can't. I'm working right now. Hey, get out of here. Where's your mama?
Dad, you gone.
What? Okay,
Dad,
well.
she's dead. You are working.
Okay, give me 20 minutes. Yep, 20 minutes. Now. 5, 4. Go. I apologize, Mohammed.
It's good. It's good. I have daughter too. They're crazy.
Yes, they are. They just, whew, I tell you. No, I agree with you. Do you think now moving forward, will you be focused more on watching tape and like strategizing towards your opponents, or are you still going to go in there and just let your mind do what it's going to do?
Now I have to put the performance that people want to see. I probably have to step up with the game and step up with my recovery, like Ilya Topuria does, and I'm really motivated to develop my game. Now I cannot stay same level. I have to develop, so I will try something different. But out of all fights, like I said, I'll just walk inside the octagon and do whatever I could do.
Hey, well, I love it, man. I love it. Boys, once again, let people know how they can support you, your social media. Drop it.
Just M57.
What does M57 mean? Mokaev 57. What is that?
57. It's 57 our flyweight division. And I've got like car register plate and stuff,
57 kilograms. Okay, kg. Okay. Well, boys.
US is 125, right?
Yes, 125. That's what I usually do when I'm playing games. I'll go like Mighty X 125. But I'm gonna start doing Mighty 57 because it's 57 kg. Because a lot of people don't do 57, so I like that. That's nice and smooth.
Yeah. I've got like register plate M57 and all this, so just like a branding but I never done like a brand clothes, but in the future I will.
Hey, I love it. MK57. Okay, boys. Well, if you guys enjoyed this episode of the MightyCast, please leave a like, subscribe. Also, hit the bell to know we go live. And make sure you guys go support my man who's on a journey trying to make his way back to the UFC. He has he has a wrestling match coming up. Just go to social media, MK57, and he will let you know how you guys can watch that. As always, I'm your host, Demetrious Johnson. The producer is out doing his own thing. I'm not sure what he's doing. And our guest today was Mohammad Mokaev. We'll see you guys in the next episode of the MightyCast. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the MightyCast. And this is the part where we call the MightyRecap. Now, we just had Mohammad Mokaev on. Now, a lot of you guys might not know who this gentleman is, but if you've been following the sport of mixed martial arts and the UFC, he is a gentleman who's undefeated. He was in the UFC. He was 7-0. He's had amazing fights. He's beat, Tim Elliott. I mean, when I look at his record, let's look at his record real quick. I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to try to, this guy's 7-0 in the UFC, never lost. He's 24 years old. He'll probably be 25 depending on when we drop this. This is probably dating this right now. But he's got wins over Manel Kape, Alex Perez, Tim Elliott, Jay Filio, Malcolm Gordon, Charles Johnson, Cody Durden, Blaine O'Driscoll. So, I mean, what's Manel Kape is probably ranked number 2. So he's beaten all these guys in the UFC. And let's look at the way he's won in the UFC. So he defeated Tim Elliott with an arm triangle, submitted Jay Filio with a rear naked choke, and armbar. So he's got 3 finishes in the UFC. He's got 4 finishes. 3 finishes in the UFC, and then 3 decisions in the UFC. Let me go over that. Okay. So he gets in the UFC in 2022, beats that gentleman with a guillotine choke. Then his next fight is against Charles Johnson in 2022, July 23rd, decision. Then he beats Malcolm Gordon via armbar. And then he beats gentleman at UFC 286 with a rear neck crank. Then UFC 294, he submits Tim Elliott with an arm triangle. Then he fights Alex Perez, decision, fights Manel Kape, decision. So he's winning. He's winning all of them, but he's getting some as a submission victory and some as a decision. And they cut him. Obviously, him and Manel Kape, according to him, they squashed for beef. Now they're on their own thing. Manel Kape just had a knee injury or some till his leg happened. He was supposed to fight Brandon Royval, but Joshua Van steps in and fights and beats Brandon Royval. Now Joshua Van is going to get the opportunity to fight Alex Pantoja. But let's get back to the conversation we had with Mohammad Mokaev. I think the thing that's frustrating for me is when you have somebody who's so young, who's undefeated, and he might not be, the best. He might not be a fan favorite of the way he goes about fighting, but it's a sport. Or is it a sport? He's undefeated. He's 7-0. Winning is winning. He goes in there and he dissects his opponent and takes and looks at where he can take advantage or where he can get the victory. And I think his style is better served for a longer duration of fight. Maybe 4th or 5-round fight when he becomes a champion. I think people will start to appreciate how he's able to go out there and dissect. And I love the fact that he said that if my stand-up is so shitty, then knock me out. His stand-up isn't shitty. He's very calculated what he does. Manel Kape couldn't knock him out because he wasn't going to stand in front of Manel Kape. And you look at his style, if you don't understand mixed martial arts and if you don't understand how to fight somebody, you're not going to understand his style. It's like people who don't understand jiu-jitsu. You don't understand when if I get you in a heel hook or a toe hold or knee bar or Achilles lock, how to defend. So you guys like, he's just grabbing my foot. I don't know what he's doing. It doesn't really appear to the masses. That's one of the things I love what the UFC get into BJJs because they're actually giving the fan base an opportunity to understand that form of martial arts. And to hear him leave Dagestan at a very young age, 12, because he felt like he didn't get accepted into the programs because he wasn't wealthy or he didn't have the connections like other people around him did. I kind of felt like that affected him, and that's one of the things he loves about the UK. They don't care about where you come from, what you do, or what you look like. They're just going to accept you if you're good, which is how it should be. And for him to have a background in karate, typically when you see people who are born or are from a Dagestan descent, they come from that Samoa background, but he comes from a karate background, and for him to go straight into wrestling and go 23-0 as an amateur, 23-0, that is something you're not really going to see nowadays because everybody's so quick to get to the UFC and just try to get there and be like, oh, I'm in the UFC and not be well seasoned. But for him to be 23-0 as an amateur and then go into a professional career and get in the UFC and go 7-0, and that's the thing, 7-0 and not even a title shot. Fucking Kai Asakura had a title shot in the UFC right off this. It's just, like I said, they dictate who gets a title shot, who gets to fight for what, and da-da-da-da. That's where it makes it's not a sport. The fact that somebody was 7-0 in the UFC, left the UFC, shows you that they don't have the best athletes in the division. What dictates they're the best athlete in the division when there's somebody out there who didn't clean out the division, but he was undefeated. So hopefully they can get Mohammad Mokaev back in the UFC, and I think they should sign Mohammad Mokaev back in the UFC because, it's the right thing to do. And he's a defeat. And like Mohammad said, the thing he did was to another fighter. Outside of the cage, he, of course people are going to be hard to deal with, right? Maybe he's an athlete who's like, guys, I'm not going to sign that shitty ass contract. I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z. I think he's probably easier to deal with than John Jones. He's probably easier to deal with than Conor McGregor. But let me guess, you guys probably kept him on the roster because he makes you guys more money. But at the end of the day, I hope they sign Mohammad Mokaev. I will say the one thing that I found interesting about him that I've always kind of loved and admired about him is that he's so young. He invested his money at a very, very young age where he's 24, 25. He doesn't need to fight. And, he said he makes great money off camera from fighting with Brave. So Brave's an option for athletes out there who can't make it to the UFC and are trying to make money. But then again, Mohammad Mokaev is a rare unicorn where he's undefeated and he has a good relationship with them. So that's probably why he gets a nice premium price when he does step in there. And now you see him, he's off doing his own thing. He did have a fight for Karate Combat. He won that, and then he had a submission choke against Joe Vincent Zoe at Brave 91 with a Barboa choke in the first round. And then he goes to decision at 971 FC2 June 14, 2025 in Dubai, three-round war. Not a war, but probably three-round fight. He returned to bantamweight. And the fact, I think he's going to be a bantamweight. The fact that he says he has a hard time making 125 and being able to push the pace and the excitement, maybe he's more fit for 135, which could be better for his career in a long haul, because the gentleman is, how tall is he? I mean, and when you look at his record, Manchester, 2018 Manchester champion. In 2016, he was the bronze medal champion. English Nationals 2019, a gold. And then also in 2018, Stanford, silver. And then ADCC UK Championship, gold in 2019 and gold in 2018 at 65 kilograms. So that's, I feel like he's a bantamweight. And then when you look at his height, he is 5'9". So yeah, as he ages, he's only going to get bigger. And with that, him getting bigger, he is going to go up into a division. And maybe I would love to see him at 135. And like he says 135 suits him better. He's sparred with guys like Peter Yan, a lot of guys in the UFC at bantamweight. So maybe he can do both. You see a guy like Ilia Topuria, he came into the division at 145. As time goes on, you don't want to make your career about trying. You don't want to make half your career trying to be about you making that fucking weight class. I know in my career, I enjoy going up to 135. Granted, one championship had the 135 pound. They had 135 and 125, but they had the hydration. You had to weigh in hydrated. I knew I was going to make 125. I can't not make 125 hydrated. So that's why I went to 135. So I think that helped my body grow into its natural where I should have been. Now I walk around like 147, 148. I eat whatever I want. But I think Muhammad Mokaev is going to be a 135er in time. And guys, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Do you think somebody who goes on a 7-0 win streak in the UFC should be cut from the UFC? Or do you try to make things work with him, try to keep him in there? Or do you think the UFC was smart by cutting him, let him go out and get more fights? Because what if he never comes back? What if he's like, I'm never coming back, you guys treat me like shit, and I'm not going to give you guys the opportunity to treat me like shit again? Or do you think it should be catered more to a sport, not an entertainment side? If you're winning, you stay. You look at him. He was 7-0 in the UFC, and let's see what Tim Elliott is. And I have nothing against Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott's a great guy. He's won a lot of fights, lost a lot of fights too. I mean, like he said, I feel like when your record becomes 50% in fighting, I think you shouldn't be at the pinnacle or fighting for the pinnacle of the biggest organization in the world. So if we look at Tim Elliott, we look at his career, he's got 34 total fights, 20 wins, and 13 losses. So he is 20. So in order for him to get 50%, he's at 13. So his win to loss ratio, if I had to do the math off the top of my head, so half is 50. So his win to lose ratio is like 55% to 57%. So he's almost halfway there. Where you look at other guys, let's take a look at his UFC record. He's one loss, one loss, one win, loss. But he is exciting. So it's kind of like a roller coaster of his record. I mean, he's lost 3 in a row, got cut by the UFC, went on a 3-fight win streak at Titan FC, and then comes back to the UFC, loses to me, beats Louis Smoka, loses to Ben Nugan, and then beats Mark De La Rosa, then goes on a 3-fight losing streak, back-to-back. Then, so that's the thing. Like, they keep guys that cut them. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Should they sign Muhammad Mokaev, and should they cater more to it being a sport instead of entertainment? So boys, if you guys enjoyed this episode of the MightyCast, please leave a like, subscribe. Also, hit the bell to know when we go live. And I am your host, Demetrious Johnson. co-host, Michael Wanzer, will be back soon. He had to go handle some stuff. So we'll see you guys in the next episode of the MightyCast.